hello there. I had a request online to show you how to make a pop-up box using the Star Explosions dies and the alphabet and numbers that Craft Buddy brought you in the one-day special a couple of weeks ago. I'm sorry it's taken me so long, and I'm sorry for my croaky voice. I've been in Glasgow last week and I'm quite tired. But I will hopefully be able to give you all the measurements and the hints and tips of how to make your box card. This one's been made using some of the foil and satin and glitter card that you can get in the pack of 81 in the 10 different colours, and also I've used the double-sided pearlescent card. The acetate I've used is 220 microns. It needs to be quite strong, heavyweight acetate, because it's holding up letters and the stars, which are cardboard. So hopefully you've got something in your stash that will do. Right, I'll get on with show you the measurements. To make a pop-up box, you need a piece of A4 card, probably about 300, at least 300 GSM, because it's going to carry some weight. I've drawn a diagram to show you the measurements of where you need to score. I've done this in inches. I'll post a picture as well as the video when I post online, so you can see a little bit more close up if it's not clear on the video now. I've already scored my piece of card using the measurements provided. So I've scored at, along the long edge, 2.5 inches, 5 inches, 7.5 inches, 10 inches and 10.5 inches, and then down I've scored, from the bottom edge I've scored up to 4.5 inches and then at 7.5 inches, and I'll be using the waist to create the bars that go across the box to attach my acetate stars to. The other things I've already prepared for the video are, I've cut using Craig Star Explosion dies. I've cut a mixture of blue and silver stars, and I've attached them with red liner tape to thin strips of acetate. So you can see I've already prepared those. I've also cut out the name that I'm going to use for my card with the Craft Buddy alphabet dies, and I've paper pieced those in blue and silver to match my design for my card. I've got a couple of extra stars, and I've got the numbers I'm going to use as well. Okay, so all of that has been prepared. Now, when you've scored your card, you're going to have a little bit of access. So I'm going to cut off what I don't need. So I'm going to cut along the long edge. You can do this with a paper trimmer, but I'm going to use scissors for the video today. So I'm just going to score along the top scored edge, like this. I'm going to cut down from the 7.5 measurement to the 4.5. Then I'm going to cut a small triangle because I'm creating the flap where I will close the pop-up box and make it into a box, and along. Then I'm just going to cut down to my score line. You will notice that there is one panel that has no score across the middle, and that is going to be the back of the card. You want that to stand up nice and straight and tall, so you don't score along there because it weakens it. Just going to trim off that extra score mark there. Now when you've done that, you can burnish all of your folds. I'm using the Craft Buddy double-sided pearlescent card for my box, so I've got no white on either side. You can always paper piece if you have card that has a plain inside. So I'm using my burnishing tool to burnish my folds, making sure that I don't fold the panel in half. I didn't score down the middle. Turn it over, and I'm going to turn over and score the 3 flaps to to make my box, and you'll see already that is going to give you your box with your back. Okay, I've put my join at the front because I don't want the tab that I've got to interfere with the mechanism I'm going to build inside. But you can decide where you want yours. That's just how I like to do it. Okay, so that's my box folded and prepared. When I scored the box, I also scored an extra ½ an inch and made sure that I went all the way along across to the top. What this means is I now know that I have panels that I can create little ready prepared tabs with. Just need to cut the cord in the right places. I've got 2 tabs to put into my box to attach the acetate to, and they are already scored from where I folded my box. So I'm going to use 2 of those. If I need any more, then I'll use the other piece of spare card that I have left. But I'm just going to attach 2 for the moment. Now, you need strong tape to keep this box together because it's going to be carrying some weight, so I'm using red liner tape. I'm also going to use red liner tape on the tabs of my pieces of card that are going to go inside the box. You can have really up to 3 pieces of card. If you put many more than that in, it starts to get too bulky to close very well. I'm just going to use 2 for this card, but you can use up to 3. I have used up to 3. It depends how many things you're going to attach inside. Okay, so putting those on the tabs. Now, so with your box, you know it's going to close flat. So you want to make sure positioning these tabs equally, not too close to the top, not too far down, a little way down, so you can't really see them. But you want them to be nice and straight. I'm going to attach one. I'm attaching them to one side of the unscored back panel. This is so that they will be facing in the right direction. Now when I take the tape off and close my box in a little minute, you'll see I'll be able to attach all of it so that it will close flat. So I'm going to take my tape off. And I'm going to take the tape off on my large flap. And I'm going to close this up. This ensures that I know that my box will open and close when there we go. So, I don't know if you can see inside. Don't know if you can see inside, but there's the 2 straps. And you can see that will close flat, and that's basically what you're after. So if you do that, you stick all those things down together, you'll ensure that you get good closure inside your box. Now, the next job is to start attaching the stars. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I've got my name in place first. And I haven't trimmed the pieces because I wanted to see where it would fall. So I put a piece in, have a look, trim the acetate, attach a piece of red liner tape. Make sure it's not too long because it needs to sit on the cardboard tab that you've put inside the box, because if you have bits of sticky hanging underneath, when you close the box, it will stop you from opening it again. I'm going to put these at a really quite an angle, so you can see that one. I'll put the D at quite an angle. I'm going to put the E on the other side at about the same angle. So I'm having a look, working out where I need to trim, and then sticking my red liner tape on. And I'm slowly going to build up my design. These alphabet dies are really handy because you can create any names. Then I've got the numbers as well, which I'm also going to be using in this demo. Here we go, so I want that one about there. Trim a bit off. They're just handy because you know you can have any name you like. I was running workshops at in Glasgow last weekend, and had some very unusual spellings of names. It was just really handy to be able to just get whatever name you needed by making it with the alphabets. So if you haven't got the alphabet dies yet, they're really worth getting your hands on, because you can use them for all your projects, birthday cards, personalisation of whatever you need. I've used them by paper piecing them, putting one colour inside the other for today's project. You can have solid thin letters and solid thick letters. So I've already got my name in there, you can see. Everyone knows the Dave. And then I can start putting in my stars. So I want some slightly taller behind. I've done them in a mixed shades of blue and silver. So I'm going to have a nice tall one at the back. The acetate I have attached these to is quite thick. It's 220 microns because it's holding up card, and you need to make sure that it's going to stick to what you want it to. See, I can see from that one I need to trim a little bit off because the cardboard strut I've put in is not wide enough to take all of that sticky. So if you can see, I've placed that so it's slightly behind. I've placed it on the next strut inside so that the star is at the back. And I'm going to keep going with that now, attaching stars where I want them to be, and making sure that I'm using the red liner tape because I'm sticking plastic. So if you try and use just your tear tape, you'll find that it will come off quite quickly. So it's also really tricky to do this with wet glue because you need to keep it upright really to see where all the things that you're sticking in are going. I've chosen, for this card, I've chosen a selection of foil and satin card in the turquoise blue, royal blue and silver, and I've also used some glitter card, some of our non-show glitter card, which also just to give it as many different textures and tone on tone effect is what I'm doing. I'm going to have some sticking right at the side because it's like an exploding box, like a pop-up box. I definitely want it to have some impact, so I want to make sure that the stars I'm using are going to pop. So I want one of those foil blue ones. That's a satin. Okay. Trying to get a really good mixture on my card. I'm also going to attach some to the back panel, and I'm also going to attach some to the front of the box to give as much height and movement to the card as I can. I'm also going to attach some to the sides and to the front of the box, coming over in a different direction. So a silver one as well. Just slowly building up getting as many stars into your box as you possibly can for the greatest impact. Okay, it's quite hard to show you this today because it's tall. So you can see I'm getting lots of stars in here. I'm just going to keep going. So here is the finished box. You can see the name, the numbers. I've attached stars at the top. I've attached stars so they're coming off the side. I've attached stars to the two struts. When to close the box, all I need to do is lie it flat and it will close. Now, I've made mine because I'm giving mine by hand. You can make sure that all your stars are inside the box and are not poking out all over the top, or you can use a larger envelope. But that is basically how you make a pop-up box with exploding stars, like the one I made before. If you need any other instructions, please say, and I can set forward them to you. I hope that's helpful. I'll speak to you again soon. Bye.